Welcome back to the U.S. Navy History Podcast. I am Dale, and I am joined by Krista, the XO guy. Yeah,
That's the type of guy that I am and the name that I have. Hey, Dale, it's good to be here.
great. I'm glad you're here. It's always fun talking with you.
Oh, man. You don't need to lie to our audience.
I'm not lying.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Well,
I'll put it in writing if you absolutely insist.
I wouldn't mind. I will frame it and put it on my wall.
Okay. So
But no
we're
rush.
gonna.
No rush. I understand
All
you're a
right.
busy
So,
man.
yeah. So, Banana Wars,
Yes.
Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to finish up with Haiti today and see if we can finish up the Banana War period. Which, we could do it. I believe in us.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was rough going at first with those banana wars, but we've gotten used to them.
Oh, so we're ready to get underway?
Yes, sir.
All right. So in September of 1915, the U.S. Senate ratified a treaty called the Haitian American Convention. This gave the U.S. security and economic oversight of Haiti for 10 years.
Why did we do this? Like, I mean, what authority do we have to do this? That's kind of.
Guns.
I knew that was the real answer, but I was just like, was there any kind of pretend, like, oh, well, as responsible Americans, we need to do this?
No, it's pretty much, hey, we just bailed you out. Here, we have bigger guns than you. Sign this.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Continue.
The representatives from the U.S. wielded veto power over all governmental decisions in Haiti. And the Marine Corps commanders served as administrators in the provinces. The local institutions did continue to be run by Haitians. And this was required under policies put in place during the presidency of who?
What year did you say?
That's cheating.
You said
It's
it
not my
moments
fault.
ago.
It's
Okay,
not my fault if you weren't
okay.
paying attention.
I'm going to say Wilson,
Yes.
because this. Sorry.
The U.S. administration overhauled the constitutional system. Overhauled is, a nice word of saying dismantled and
Yeah. Completely
forever.
wrecked and
Yeah.
reconstituted.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be kind of like how they make chicken nuggets, right? They take chicken, they practically pulverize it into
Paste.
paste. So it's still technically chicken, but it's not the form it ever was before. And then they make it the shape that they like dinosaurs or stars or something fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we did.
Yeah. They also reinstituted civil conscription for building roads, and they established the National Guard.
So when you say civil conscription, is that a nice word for slavery?
It is, you're going to do this now, but we will pay you.
Okay. Like jury duty.
But you're going to be paid what we say you're going to be paid.
Oh.
And you have no choice.
Huh. Okay. Well, I guess there's pay involved, so not technically slavery.
Not technically. You can still refuse and go to jail.
Oh. 3 hots and a cot? That's not bad.
I think you're being generous.
Oh, Haitian jail. Administered by Marine commanders. Probably not. Huh.
In 1915.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sufficiently depressed, so I'm ready to continue.
The administration made massive improvements to infrastructure. 1,700 kilometers of roads were
Whoa.
made usable. 189 bridges were built. The irrigation canals were redone. Hospitals, schools, and public buildings were built, and they brought drinking water to the cities.
Nice. That's really great.
Now, opposition to this occupation began immediately. The rebels, that the Marines called cows, they tried to resist American control of Haiti. That's what rebels do.
Yeah. They rebel.
Yes.
It's right there in
So
the name.
yeah, exactly. So during the first period of the occupation, they received a lot of support from the German government and the German Haitian elite.
Yeah, I remember last episode we discussed there was not like a huge population, but a good population of Germans living there that would intermarry with local Haitians in order to
Yep.
enable them to buy land and
Yep.
okay, so that makes sense.
Now, German capabilities were limited quite a lot by World War One, and when that started, the U.S. remained neutral. But both sides did regard each other with hostility, and they were determined to the high power over Hispaniola.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
hmm The guys that supported the Germans were the indigenous resistant movements. So the Germans were like, you know what? We'll use the rebels.
Yeah. They probably have a stronger relationship with them given the recent history of the island, or at least Haiti.
Well, the American government also had its firm grasp on the Haitian government.
Yeah, that's never. I would think that's akin to modern times with the UN and their presence in Haiti. It's not looked upon favorably by the locals. They have a lot of sway and they're effectively unaccountable. So I'm sure that's how the Americans were back in the day.
Yeah. Once the Germans threw their lot in with them, the Haitian and American governments began a very, very rigorous campaign to destroy all the rebel armies.
Ooh.
The racial attitudes towards the Haitian people by the Americans were not good.
Yeah, I assume they're similar to Civil War era mixed with the Spanish American War ish. Like, yeah, you're different and that's bad.
Yes. The NAACP secretary, a guy named Herbert J. Seligman, in July of 1920, quote, military camps have been built throughout the island. The property of the natives has been taken for military use. Haitians carrying a gun were for a time shot on sight. Machine guns have been turned on crowds of unarmed natives, and United States Marines have, by accounts, which several of them gave me in a casual conversation, not troubled to investigate how many were killed or wounded.
For the audience, I'm shaking my head. I know
Yeah,
that doesn't really convey on an audio medium.
yeah. But for the rebel forces, they also acted outside what you would expect for military.
Okay.
They engaged in terrorism and they committed war crimes against both the occupying forces and the general population.
I wonder, I know that they've done studies about collective punishment, like famously with how the Germans acted with the places they occupied during World War II and how ineffective that is. And I
hmm
wonder what the mentality is of any group that uses terrorism as a tool to inflict damages upon the locals' I mean, I guess to inspire them to fall in line with their idea, but I would also think it would push them toward the opponent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of times that's what happens. The rebel goals and the terrorism goals is to create so much fear that the populace will do whatever they say for fear of being targeted and killed
Hmm.
and tortured and maimed, whatever else. You do what we say or we're going to kill you.
Huh. Not a great political slogan,
No, it's not.
but honest, I guess.
But ruling through fear had been the status quo
Yeah,
in
that's
the
true.
past.
I mean,
And
a majority of governments for sure. Yeah,
yeah, so that's just the continuation of ruling by fear.
makes sense. Okay.
So at the end of World War One, and yes, there's multiple world wars. Sorry to spoil that.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Uh, this deprived the rebels of their main ally, Germany.
Yeah.
But the occupation of Haiti continued after WW1, even though it was now an embarrassment to the Wilson administration,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially at the Paris Peace Conference. And also the congressional guys were like really looking hard at it in 1922.
Yeah. The fact that we've been there for so long in the middle of a global conflict, it's just like, why? What are we doing there? Why are we spending resources? What business do we have there?
We are bringing culture and modernization to these
Backwards peoples?
backwards name. Yeah.
Well, you might have something with the infrastructure. Like, if you can help them with infrastructure, cool. I can see how that could benefit a nation. But beyond that, it's just control and
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
yielding some profit for somebody that's your
Yeah,
buddy.
for the American businessmen that
Hmm.
had ties to the islands.
I need to be a businessman, apparently. That's I missed out or missing. Can you imagine having the personal protection of the U.S. military because of my business?
That's not happening anymore.
Oh, you're
At least
ruining.
not out in the public eye
Okay.
like this was.
All right. Well, I've just scrapped my business plans. Thanks, Dale.
You're welcome. I don't want you to turn evil anyway.
Oh, well, that's. Well, no, I would have a sense of altruism. Like I would be the right one, and I'm just foisting my rightness on everybody around me, whether they concede or not. That's all.
That's exactly what these guys were thinking.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay, I'm out.
Okay. 22, there was a regime change. This is when Louis Borono took the reins and he ruled without a legislator until 1930.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. The guy named General John H. Russell Jr. was appointed High Commissioner when Borono took the reins. And the Borono-Russell government oversaw the expansion of the economy, building over 1,000 miles of roads, establishing an automatic telephone exchange, and modernizing the nation's port facilities, and establishing a public health service.
That's pretty great. Now, just for clarification, this person that came to power is a Haitian, right? Or is this a United States person? Because John H. Russell Jr. sounds like an American name, but Bonoro, or however you pronounced it, is ambiguous.
Yes, Borono was a Haitian. He has a French father and a Haitian mother.
All right.
And let's see. John H. Russell Jr. was born in California,
No kidding.
and he was a Marine.
Looks like I guessed right on those
Yes.
names.
Yeah. So The efforts to develop commercial agriculture met very little success. Some of it was because much of the Haiti's labor force was employed as seasonal workers in the more established sugar industries of Cuba and the Dominican Republic.
Hmm.
There's an estimated 30 to 40,000 Haitian laborers that went yearly to the ornate province of Cuba to work. Many Haitians continue to resent their loss of sovereignty. Imagine that.
Yeah, I would too.
At the head of the opposition among the educated elite was Le Union Patriotique. That's French. I don't know if I said it correctly, but it is what it is. But they had established ties with opponents of the occupation in the U.S. itself with the NAACP.
You said that one right.
Oh, I know. I know my letters. So this is when the Great Depression hits. And this really, really lowered the prices on Haiti's exports, which completely destroyed any of the gains that they made
Oh,
previous decade.
that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. In December of 1929, the Marine Corps in Les Cayes killed 10 Haitian peasants during a march to protest local economic conditions. So this led the U.S. president, who was it? Who was it?
Oh, Hoover, I'm guessing.
Yep, you are correct. Herbert Hoover. He appointed two commissions, one headed by a former U.S. governor of the Philippines, a guy named William Cameron Forbes, and they criticized the exclusion of Haitians from positions of authority in the government and and the cops.
Yeah.
This was known as the Garde de Haiti.
Oh, okay.
That's the Haitian
The
cops.
Makes sense. No Haitian, like, I'm sure Haitians may have been on the force, but they weren't in charge in any positions of power on the police force.
Exactly.
Mm.
That was all U.S. appointed people.
That is a long time for the U.S. to be there.
Oh yeah, no,
Like
they were there for a long time.
pre World War I to the Depression, and then we're still talking like about yeesh.
Yeah. So that will bring us to a new president of Haiti. In 1930, Stinio Vincent was elected president, and he was a longtime critic of the occupation. That might be good news, right?
It's promising. I'm excited to see where this goes.
At the same time, Hoover had become concerned about the effects of the occupation, particularly after the Marines killed those 10 people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
So the Forbes Commission, we were like, we're really happy about the material improvements that we brought to the Haitians. But come on now, guys, we got to get Haitians into power. And they also said that the quote social forces that created instability still remain. Poverty, ignorance, and the lack of tradition or desire for orderly free government.
It sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Like I guess in our modern times, these are kind of the same arguments I would hear about Afghanistan or Iraq. It's like we want to help them with from an infrastructure perspective. We want to help them rule, but not cede them complete control. Yeah. So those had mixed results, we'll say. So
It has the same results it's always had,
yeah,
which is, the continuation of conflict and thinking that we're better than they are and running their own country.
Right. It's like they want freedom. That's what they want. That's why we're here to impose our will so they can be free.
A number of times, it's always ended the same way.
Yeah. Well, let's keep going. We'll see how this story concludes or continues.
So the Hoover administration did not fully implement the recommendations of the Ford Commission, but the U.S. did start withdrawing in 1932 when Hoover lost the presidency to who?
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
There you go. And this is when the good neighbor policy started in effect.
So that isn't one of those policies where they name it something nice and cheery so everybody supports it, but it's really the opposite. One of those like, we're going to be a total jerk neighbor.
The policy's main principle was that of non intervention and non interference in the domestic affairs of Latin America.
Okay. Like a mind your
It
business policy.
Yeah, it reinforced the idea that the U.S. would be a good neighbor and engage in reciprocal exchanges with Latin American countries.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So the last contingent of U.S. Marines departed on August 15th, 1934.
Wow. That's 20 years, right? Effectively?
Uh,
Because we were at 1914 at the beginning. Maybe not exactly.
1915,
Okay. That's
1915 to 1934.
whew.
But the U.S. still had influence on Haiti's external finances until 1947.
And that's because the banks bought their debt, right? And was still trying to get paid back for that?
That was because we still had a lot of money in there, and it's like we're still controlling the money.
Okay. I need to find some Haitians and apologize to them on behalf of America. I don't know if that would help anything, actually.
I
Let me,
don't think so.
yeah. I guess just be aware of the history.
That's the U.S.'s occupation of Haiti.
Well, there we go.
Final thoughts?
Oh, man, where do I begin? Okay, I'm anti-occupation. I think that goes against what America's about. I
Yep.
think self-determination is a part of at least the ethos that we try to foster. I
Hmm.
think. I don't know if that's more of a modern idea, but it seems throughout writings and letters and all that. I mean, even in the Civil War, when you see letters from the North and the South, the soldiers are like, we're just trying to be in control of our own destiny. And then to see us imposing the opposite of our ethos on other countries because, well, it benefits us. And so we're going to rationalize a way to have our presence there. That grosses me out. I mean,
Yes.
that is I have a habit of minimizing things. Gross out is minimizing my actual feelings. It's just this is horrible. And I know we want to export our culture and our way of life, but I think it should be I heard it likened to the way a Christian should treat Jesus Christ, and it should be a perfume that attracts people, not a pesticide that's used to say, no, that's wrong, because that pushes people away. And America's got a lot of good things going for it, and I think we can attract allies and friends and neighbors, like you're saying. It's like, hey, you know what? We could use a new port. We sure could use some help. America, would you mind helping us? Not at all. Let's help. And then we can work something out. And then now you have a boon to your economy. Like you can have more trade or more, like help them develop, but don't control it. I don't know. I blame
Yes.
Wilson.
Help. 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 That's the key words. Help.
Yeah.
Not do for it. And no, I don't agree. We should not be exporting our culture and everything.
No. I
Let them
agree.
have their own culture.
Right. But our culture, like, okay. So when I watch, uh, when I have been to other countries and the music they play in restaurants in other countries is American music because our music's pretty great. No problem. Like we're not
Mhm.
forcing them to do that music. It's just, hey, this I want to attract people with this music. Cool. Let it naturally ebb and flow. You know what I mean? Like America has a lot of culture, France has a lot of culture, Japan has a lot of culture. All these places have very distinct elements that other countries adopt or can meld and change. And I know there's a very distinct Haitian culture. That doesn't need to be disturbed. If they want to adopt things from other places, awesome. If not, no problem. That's their
There
thing.
we I agree with that 100%.
Okay, cool.
When I visited overseas, that's what I did is I went and experienced their culture because that's what I wanted.
Right,
I wanted to do that. They don't need my culture. I want to experience theirs.
right. I'm glad we're aligned. That's why our
Okay, good.
podcast is awesome.
All right. Now we're going to talk about another occupation.
All
This
right.
one of the Dominican Republic.
Oh, well, it's right there. Why not? It's next door to Haiti.
This one's going to be quick. This one's
Okay.
going to be quick. I promise. All right. So the U.S. Marines landed to control the Dominican Republic in 1960.
Okay. So the year following
And
the Haiti occupation.
yes, this was May 13th. And in November, the U.S. imposed a military government under Rear Admiral Harry Shepard.
Um,
Uh,
why?
yeah,
This I know you're okay. So you're going to tell the story and you're going to explain, and maybe I just need to breathe and let you do that. But what the heck is going on? Is this business interests again, I assume?
there was unrest on the island.
Okay. Continue.
So the Marines were brought there to restore order. And they did, with the exception of the eastern region. And so, again, the U.S. takes over and they do manage to balance the Dominican Republic's budget, started getting their debt paid off, and they were able to grow their economy.
So it's like we're the Dominican Republic's life coach.
Just like over there in Haiti.
Yeah, man. That's just being a life coach. That's what we're doing.
Life coach with guns.
Whoa, nice. I think I know what my new business is going to be. Wait, no, we scrapped that. Continue.
Yeah, I thought we just had a whole discussion.
Well, you started saying occupation, and I was thinking, what should my occupation be? Anyway, we're good. Let's talk about the Dominican Republic some more.
So the infrastructure projects were put in place and new roads were built that linked all of the country's regions for the first time in its history.
Wow.
They put in place a professional military organization, the Dominican Constabulary Guard.
I always say it wrong, but I'll try it.
So do I.
It's, I think, constable. So I start there.
Yes.
Constabulary.
Constabulary. Okay, that
But
works.
I think that's wrong. But it.
You know what? You know how many words I'm saying wrong anyway?
Well, you're saying all the foreign words. So, I mean,
The Dominican Constabulary Guard, they replaced the partisan forces that were doing the whole we want the power.
yeah,
And then a new one comes in, we want the power, and the new one comes in. So now they got,
super cops.
yeah. And of course, most Dominicans resented the loss of their sovereignty to the US.
It's not a great way to
Few of
influence people or make friends, I mean.
few of these administrators spoke Spanish or displayed any concern for the welfare of the Dominican Republic. So a guerrilla movement known as the Gavileros, under people like General Ramon Natira, they got a lot of support from the population, especially in the eastern provinces of El Ciebo, San Pedro de Morocos. And, they had the knowledge of the local terrain. which is always a boon to have against an occupying force.
Oh, yes.
And so they fought against the occupation from 1719 to 1920. I mean, from 1917 to 1921.
Wow, that's a long time. And right smack in the middle of World War One.
Yeah, the four-year resistance. American naval forces maintained order during this insurrection. And in 1921, the rebels were crushed due to scorched earthquakes, superior air power, firepower, and counterinsurgency methods of the U.S. military.
Yeah, I'm sure all stuff we learned in Europe.
In World War One,
Yeah.
yes.
I was just thinking, planes are still new
Yep.
and advancing radically fast, and that what a tactical benefit that is.
World War One is where we developed their uses for warfare.
Right.
So after WW1, the opinion in the U.S. began to run against being DR. Warren G. Harding had campaigned against both the occupations Haiti and the Dominican Republic. In June of 1921, the U.S. representatives, they put down a proposal to withdraw. This was the Harding Plan, which called for Dominican ratification of all acts of the military government and a loan of $2.5 million for public works and other expenses.
Wow.
Also in it was the acceptance of U.S. officers for the military police, which was changed to the National Guard or Guardia Nacional, and the holdings of elections under the U.S. supervision. Reactions to this plan was pretty negative.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's a step in the right direction, but still a little still power hungry in a way.
Yeah. So the Dominican leaders used the plan as a basis for further negotiations. And this resulted in an agreement between U.S. Secretary of State Charles Evans Hughes and the Dominican ambassador to the U.S., Francisco J. Peñado, on June 30th, 1922. This allowed for the selection of a provisional president to rule until elections could be organized. So they put in place Juan Batista Vincini Brogos, and he assumed the provisional presidency on October 21st, 1922. The election happened March 15th, 1924, and Horatio Vasquez Lajara won. He was an American ally and cooperated with the U.S. government.
So he won in the election that we were supervising? Wow.
Amazing, isn't
That's
it?
so cool. What a coincidence.
So with his inauguration on July 13th, control of the Dominican Republic returned to the Dominican Republic.
Such an interesting, that's a pretty different road that we just went down for the Dominican Republic versus Haiti.
Mm.
And I don't understand why we didn't do the same with Haiti in the same time frame.
Different people were in charge. Same people in charge in Haiti were not in charge in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, not that we should have been there anyway, but it's just the same island, same U.S. government. It's just kind of weird.
Well, Germans weren't here in the Dominican Republic.
That's
so
true.
The rebels weren't having the backing of a
foreign power.
Huge government. Foreign power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a big difference.
So the last thing to say about this is that the U.S. kept control of the country's custom revenues until 1941. That's the occupation of the Dominican Republic. I told you, quick.
It was relatively quick. Probably didn't feel quick to the people that were dealing with the occupation. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad we're going through this. Like, I think I say this every episode now,
Yes,
and
you do.
as tragic and misguided as I think a lot of these things have been, it's so important to realize that they did happen, and
Yeah.
we should learn from them.
Oh, also in Haiti, the Marine Corps were in charge. In Dominican Republic, the Navy was in charge.
That is a difference.
That's the
There
difference.
is an
Yes.
attitudinal difference between those elements.
All right. So that's the Banana Wars. We're done with the Banana Wars.
Ooh, that was bananas. I
Thank you,
guess
Dole Corporation, for all the
that's
hate you did.
that's right. And a message from our sponsor, Chiquita. I'm just kidding. We're we're not sponsored, right? I mean, we
No,
keep it real.
no, we're not sponsored. But if you want to sponsor us, you're more
Yes,
than welcome to.
we absolutely stand against being on the take until you cut us in. Then we are ready to echo your message.
Right. So that's going to actually bring us to the Philippine American War. This starts with a Philippine revolution. Bonifico, who was a warehouse clerk from Manila, established a revolutionary organization called Capiunan. And their goal was to gain independence from Spanish colonial rule by guns.
That's a pretty effective way to do it.
hmm The group spread throughout the provinces, and the revolution of 1896 started. Fighters in Cavite province won early victories. One of the most influential leaders was Emilio Aguindalo, who was the mayor of what is now the city of Cavite. And he gained control of much of eastern Cavite. Eventually, his faction gained control of the leadership of the movement. And in 1897, he was elected president of a insurgent government, while the guy who started the whole movement, Bonifico, was executed for treason.
Oh man, yeah, you never want to be the first revolutionary.
Mm. So Aguindalo is officially considered the first president of the Philippines. And that's the tease that we're going to leave for the next episode.
Oh man, that's exciting.
Yes. So at the end of every episode, we like to honor one of our fallen angels, and with the help of herocards.us. And today we're going to Brigadier General William Lee Davidson. His hometown was Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. He served in the Continental Army. He served with the Salisbury District Brigade of Militia. His date of sacrifice was February 1st, 1781. Killed in action at the Battle of Crowan's Ford, North Carolina. He was 34 years old. General William Lee Davidson served as an officer in George Washington's Continental Army at Valley Forge, then led militia forces in his home state. A Revolutionary War hero, North Carolina's Davidson College and Davidson County, along with Davidson County in Tennessee, are named in his honor. A district constable since 1770 in his hometown of Rowan County, North Carolina in 1775, Davidson pursued a career in the military. As the Revolution began, he enlisted in the Rowan County Militia Regiment as a captain. By 1776, he was a major in the 4th North Carolina Regiment of the Continental Line, then later served as a lieutenant colonel in the 5th, 7th, 3rd, and 1st Regiments. By early 1780, he was serving as a colonel in the 2nd Mecklenburg County Regiment, while remaining a Continental officer. He later left the Continental Army to serve as a brigadier general of the Salisbury District Brigade of Militia. He served as one of George Washington's officers at Valley Forge and fought in the Patriot Siege of 96, South Carolina, the Battle of Brandywine, and the Battle of Germantown in Pennsylvania, the Battle of Monmouth, New Jersey, and the Battle of Collins Mill, North Carolina, where he was severely wounded. Contesting the Catawba River crossing of the main British Army under Lord Charles Cornwallis, Davidson was killed by a sniper on February 1st, 1781, in the Battle of Cowan's Ford. Davidson and his Salisbury District Brigade were instrumental in the resistance to the British General Cornwallis. General Light Horse Harry Lee later described Davidson as, quote, a man of popular manners, pleasing address, active and indefatigable devotion to the profession of arms and to the great cause for which he fought. So, Brigadier General William Lee Davidson, we thank you.
Thank you.
XO, take us out.
Cool. Well, listeners, thank you so much for listening with us. Hopefully you learned something. If you ever want to comment, complain, question, or something else that involves communication, there's a couple of ways you can do that. Number one, you can email us at usnavyhistorypodcast@gmail.com. You can also tag us on X/Twitter, or X-Twitter, as Captain Dale likes to say. And that handle, I looked it up before this episode started, so I would make sure to get it right, because I always mess it up. It's at USN History Pod. So US Navy is USN History Pod. That's it. Find us. Tweet at us or message at us, whatever they call it nowadays. Also, in the show notes, you can find that we have a Discord server that you're free to join. Come on board. We'll chat. We'll discuss things. It'd be great to have you there. And finally, we're on YouTube. And just wherever you find finer podcasts, you will find us. And you can rate and review. And by doing so, you help us get the word out about this podcast. So that would be a really wonderful thing for you to do. If you need a suggestion, I would suggest 5 stars, but go with your gut. We trust you. We're not going to be like an occupying force that's telling you what to do. We've learned all about that and how negative that is, so we want you to make the decision for you. So go ahead and do that. Dale.
And with that, we're going to wish you guys fair winds and following seas. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.